Hey, this is Joshua from Ti84. Today we're going to do some use of the calculator Ti84 Silver Edition. This can also work with the Ti83 and the Ti184. So don't worry about the numbers. Just if it looks like this, then you can use all the same mechanisms to solve in using this calculator. Okay? I wanted to start with a simple equation to solve. Okay, and whenever we are talking about solving equations, usually we want the values of x that satisfy a specific condition. In here, notice that all the conditions is that the equations on the left are equal to 0. Okay? Now if we do this mathematically, okay, and you're gonna see that in these videos I always have two setups, either mathematically and then using the calculator. So x plus 1 equals 0. This implies if we subtract 1 in both sides, that x equals to -1. Okay, and the purpose of this video is to show you not how to solve equations, but how to use the calculator for it to solve it for ourselves, right? I want to know what's this value equal to. The simplest one is the equation solver on the calculator. So you go to math. Okay. You go down all the way to 0, okay, where it says solver. You press enter, you notice it says equation solver, EQN for equation, 0 equals. Okay, notice that the equation solver will only solve when it's equal to 0. So if you have something that is not equal to 0, make it equal to 0, okay, by subtracting or adding, whatever you need to do. And we're gonna do some examples like that soon. So for example, let's start with the first one, x plus 1. Now, x here, you're gonna look for this tab says that x comma t comma theta comma n. You press it, it's gonna go straight to x. Okay. And imagine that I don't know that the solution for x plus 1 is equal to -1. So you press x plus 1. Okay. Now, if you press enter, it's gonna ask you for a bound. Okay, x equals what? Okay, this one you can leave it at 0, but usually this is necessary when we have more than one 0. Okay, and whatever the bound is, the x value, it will find the 0 most closest to it. Okay, that's very important to know. This is not the solution. This is just the bound. Okay, now in order to find the solution, notice if I press enter, nothing happens. Okay, and this one took me a while to understand, like, what's the problem? Why is it that I'm not getting the solution? Because enter doesn't give you the solution. Notice that here there's a green here that says solve, and in order to get to solve, you have to press alpha. Okay, so alpha, enter. Notice that it doesn't do anything. You gotta go back to the 0 and press alpha, enter, and there it is. If you do that, it's gonna give you x equal to -1, which is exactly my solution, and it's gonna say left, right equal to 0. Okay, so what it does, this means that it went from left of the 0 and right of the 0, and it found that the solution was -1. Okay, now there's another way to find the solutions for these type of equations, and this one is very effective, which is using the graph. Okay, so let's go to y equals. Y equals, I'm going to plot the same function x plus 1, and I'm going to graph it. Okay, boom. So notice that I can see that there's a 0 right here. Now if I want to know the exact value, what you're gonna do is second. Notice that the blue words here are calc for calculate. So you're gonna go second trace, and these are all the options that you can calculate. So obviously the one that we want is the second one, which is called 0. Okay. Now notice the question left bound. It wants you to find a left bound for that 0. Okay. So what we're gonna do is go choose our arrow cursor, and we're gonna go left of the 0, okay, and then press enter. Now it's asking for the right bound. So choose to the right of the 0, press enter. And then it's asking for it to guess, okay? And then you say yes, you press enter, and boom, there it is. X equal to -1, y equals 0. Okay, so that's the second method to solve equations. I prefer the graph one because it gives you all the zeros at once and you don't have to guess where they are. Okay, but both methods are useful, right? So let's do the next one: x squared minus 4x plus 4. Okay, now mathematically, again, x squared minus 4x plus 4 equals 0. If I factor this, what two factors of +2 when you add them together gives you -4? Well, -2 and -2, right? So x squared minus 2x minus 2x plus 4 equals 0. What can I factor from these two? X, I get x minus 2. Oops. And then what can I factor from these two? Well, -2, and I get x minus 2 again. Okay, and using the distribution law, this becomes x minus 2 times x minus 2 equal to 0, which implies that your only 0 is x equal to 2. Okay, so let's, again, this is not a video to learn how to do this. It's how to use the calculator to solve it. So let's go back to our math. Now, if I don't want to go scrolling down on the test or whatever test you're taking, you can just press the number 0 and it's going to go straight to solver. Okay. Now you got to clear this by going up, press clear, and then write the new equation. Again, x. Now notice that this button says x squared, so that's the one you're going to press, minus 4x plus 4. Okay, and you press enter. You can leave it at -1, whichever you want. It's gonna find the 0 anyways, and then go alpha, enter, and boom, there it is, 2.0000885. Notice that it's 2 is exactly 2, but this is a calculator. Okay, calculators they work using approximation methods. Okay, so it's approximating the value to all of these zeros first, and then it gives you like an error here of 8594. That's just a calculation error, but the value is 2. Okay, now let's do the same thing on the graph. Let's clear this one. You get x squared minus 4x plus 4, then graph. Notice, boom, that the 0 is right around here, so you go to second trace, press 2. If you press 2 again, you do not have to use the cursor, it will go straight to the 0 option. So left bound, whichever you want, close to the 0, press enter, and then right bound, again the same guess, and yes, 1.999994, which is exactly 2. Remember, this is just a calculation estimation, which is still 2. Okay, if you approximate it to whatever decimal you want, it's going to give you 2. Okay, so that's how you use both options. Now, once we get to a higher degree from x squared, then things get a little shaky, right? It's not that obvious to solve it mathematically, right? You need different other tools, and sometimes there is none. Okay, for higher degrees, more than 5, there is no equation that you can solve. So it's easier for you to solve using the calculator. Okay, so let's look for x cubed minus x squared plus x plus 1. Now, because there's 3 zeros, I don't know if they're imaginary yet. I don't know if there's irrational. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go straight to the calculator, to the graph, sorry. And I'm gonna clear this. I'm gonna write x cubed. Notice that this is the exponent option. minus x squared plus x plus 1. Okay, and then we graph. Okay, perfect. Now this is the graph of that cube function. Notice that we can see that there's a 0 around this area. Okay, and I'm assuming I don't know what the 0 is. So let's go ahead and second trace, press the 2 button, left bound below the left part, and then right bound above the 0 part, and then yes, please guess. Notice that it gives you negative 0.543689. What does that mean? Is it not an integer? Is it a fraction? What is it? By the looks of it, it's probably a irrational number. Okay, so it's gonna give you the first 6 digits of it. Remember, irrationals are characterized by the fact that they don't have a fixed amount of repetition in their decimal form. So it's so what the calculator does is give you an approximation. Okay, now let's see if we can find the same value using the math option. So again, we go to 0, we go up, we clear, and we start again by writing it all again. X exponent of 3 minus x squared plus x plus 1. Okay, when we press enter, it's gonna ask you for, oh, there it is. We didn't even have to find a bound, because what it did was it took the information from the graph and just plugged it in. Okay, and if we press enter solve, it's going to give you exactly the same number because they already solved it for us before. Okay, so notice that this indeed is a irrational number. Okay, and the methods for using this, like I said, are very complex. They're not obvious, but that's it. That's the zero, the solution, the real 0, because the other two are imaginary. Okay, so we can go to the next one, x squared plus 1. This one is very interesting. So I'm gonna let's see what happens on the solver equation, so you can have an idea of if this happens to you. Okay, x squared plus 1, and we go to enter, second solve. No sign change. What does that mean? Well, that means that the calculator couldn't find a 0 because x squared plus 1 does not have a 0. Okay, let's see that on the, let's quit on the graph. So x squared plus 1, let's graph it. So there you have it. Look here, x equals 0, y equals 1. So there's no zeros on the graph. There's no intersection on the x-axis. It doesn't cross the x-axis. So x squared plus 1 does not have a real solution, and that's why it gives you no sign change. Okay, now let's do x squared minus 16x cubed minus 7x squared plus 90x equal to 0. Now the reason I chose this one is because it's very interesting what's going to happen in terms of the calculator. Okay, this calculator is very powerful, but at the same time, if you don't know how to use it, it's very limited. Okay, so let's try to find the zeros of this one. So let's go y equals, let's go straight to x to the power 4 minus 16 x to the power 3 minus 7x plus x squared, my bad, plus 490x. Let's graph. Okay, so we have two straight lines. So it doesn't seem very valuable in terms of the solutions, right? Because if it's a power to the 4, there should be at least 4 solutions, either 2 imaginary or 2 reals and 1 imaginary, or all reals. Okay, so let's see how we can get that information from the calculator when I can't see it visually. And it starts with the zoom options, right? Because this is the zoom standard. Now if I go zoom, let's see, zoom fit, look what happens. Now I see 3 solutions from the graph, but my suspicion is there has to be another one. Okay, and how do I get to see it? Now this is very complex, but you know, again, it's all about knowing how to use the calculator. And this time we're gonna set up the window option. So go to Windows. Notice that you have X min, X max, Y min, Y max, scale 1, residue 1. Okay, so X min, instead of negative, I'm gonna leave it at -10. For the X max, I'm gonna go to 20. Now this is where the minimum and maximum change for the Y values. So for Y min, instead of 1800s, I'm gonna go 2200. And instead of 20,000, I'm gonna go to 1500. Now I'm gonna graph it again. And there it is. My 4 roots appear immediately. Okay, so now it's gonna be much easier to find the roots if I can see where they are. Okay, so let's go again, second trace, the zeros. Now if I notice how the cursor is easier to see, easier to see. So the left bound for this one, I'm gonna press it there. The right bound for this one, I'm gonna press it there. I'm gonna guess, and it's -5. So it seems like the first 0 for x to the power 4 is -5. Okay. Now I'm gonna look for the other one. Okay. So again, second calc, press 2. So press enter, enter. And that one was easy, x equals 0. And then again, I'm going to do the same thing, second calc, 2. The left bound of this guy, press enter. The right of bound, press enter. Guess, x equals 7. And then we keep going. Let's go again, second trace. Sorry about that. 2. Left bound here. Enter. Right bound, not too far. Let's enter. And guess, and it's 14. Okay. And that's how you will find the zeros or the solutions of these polynomials using your calculator. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to Motival. Share it with your friends, family members, students, whatever you want to show this to, for them to understand how to use the Ti84 or Ti83 for whatever reasons they need it, either ACT or calculus or pre-calc. And thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this and have a great day.